Hello and welcome to the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Look at the first guy. Yeah, so the Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter. And yes, Callum, we are late to the 200th episode. There we go.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, everybody. That is how much it's changed in however many years it is. Harry's now got a child, and I had to deal with that before the show.
So yeah, I mean, it's like slightly different intro there. It is, 200th episodes. Also, 5 years to the day since I sent the lads round what I had made to be the what is our opening theme. So if you listen on the podcast, you would have just heard that. 5 years ago. Time has flown by, and I mean, we couldn't look any different, I suppose, as a team and what's happened in the last 5 years. I don't think we would ever have imagined, I think, especially when we started the podcast. But maybe I think just to start off, to have some self-indulgence for ourselves and just have a look back on what our favourite parts of the last 5 years have been. We've met people, Aaron, through the podcast. We thought when we met up that he was going to kill us, and he didn't. So that is that is good. But Harry, let's start with you. What's a standout moment from the last half a decade?
Before I mention that, it's just mad. It weren't planned, but when we started the podcast was when Nuno took over, so we couldn't have started at a better time, could we? But I mean, the obvious one is Turin, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When it was Fans Bet at the time that sponsored the podcast, give us some money to do the what was it, Gran Torino? So I went in the car, you flew, and we had a race to Turin, like Top Gear style. That was incredible, and obviously the best away game we've ever been to. In it, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was absolutely mental, and it was very, very annoying because we took public transport and managed to lose. So, what did we do, Dan? We flew to. We did, yeah. Well, we got too hammered in Switzerland. That was a problem. Yeah,
we flew to Zurich and then got a bus from Zurich to Milan, and a train from Milan to Turin, and then walked into a bar to find a zombie Harry Mansell ordering beers.
Well, I'd done an all-nighter basically with Seb, our friend Seb, who's been on the podcast in the early days, and we drove straight through. I think we had about an hour's sleep in the back of the car, but never again because I nearly died after the game.
What did Jack go straight to Reading Festival? I think so. Was he hanging about Turin?
Oh yeah,
bus? I think
he
so.
Didn't sleep.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. He had like a 2 a.m. bus, didn't he, to get to an airport? It was mad.
And then Bayliss had to drive the car back and interrupted me trying to sleep in the back for about probably about 15 hours sleep. It was glorious. Across the Alps, got woken up every now and again for a toilet break. It was fantastic.
That drive was so difficult and bad. It actually made my eyes bleed. You hear that as a joke. It genuinely did.
It did actually, yeah. What's your favourite moment, Bayliss?
What were the other highlights?
Playing at Molineux. We're all terrible at football, but that was I'm the worst. Jack's the worst of the lot right there. I'm not going to do myself a disservice. Jack's the worst. But that was unbelievable.
He's very bad.
Getting out there.
Shout out to Fancast for sorting that as well.
Yeah, good work, lads. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
The awards night, that was pretty cool.
Believe it or not, how did that happen?
Yeah, that was quite early on. That was, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Football Content Awards. Was that? I'm trying to think when that was. Was that 2018? I think.
I think it was. Yeah, about then.
Yeah. Sitting on. It was quite funny because we sat on a table next to Darren Fletcher, the BT Sport head commentator. Harry sits down next to him, doesn't know who he is. Says, "Oh, I really like Robbie Savage. He's presenting tonight." And it's when Darren Fletcher had fallen out with Robbie Savage. So it's that awkward silence.
They had the BT Sport show, didn't they? Fletcher and Saab. Yeah. And I mentioned that, and it was a bit of a frosty subject at the time. Signing Semedo, Bayliss. Someone's put in the comments. Is that one of the highlights of the podcast?
I could think of a few better ones. That was an unbelievable night. He was a top bloke. Him and his missus sat on the table with us, and they were really nice. He went and got us a round of beers, and then we realised it was an open bar.
Yeah.
Then we got stuck into the open bar.
No, some good memories. I can't believe it's been 5 years though. How quick has that 5 years gone since we started?
I can't believe that Ruben Neves is still here.
Yeah, there's one thing. Signed him as we started the podcast. and
He's the
still
one
here.
player actually that has been the same throughout the entire podcast. I think he is the only one left, isn't he? Apart from maybe Bonatini, technically. I don't know. Is he left?
Typical podcast style. We're not all here for the 200th episode. There we go.
No, exactly. Yeah, Jack's in Rome looking at a really old wall. He did text today saying, once you've seen one old bit of wall, you've kind of seen them all. But I think he's just ticking boxes with the missus. Anyway, nice to recap on that. Let's get into all things Wolves. Harry, first win of the season, first win in the Premier League since April.
God.
It doesn't matter how they go in, just that they do. I'd rather Podence does something that he doesn't mean to do than try and miss. Just your thoughts on that win to start off with, because it was so important.
Oh yeah, the pressure going into it was absolutely massive on Bruno. And it was a nervy game, I thought. I was happy with the starting lineup, the new player, Sasha, coming into the forward line. And he only lasted 45 minutes, as we all know, and didn't do much, to be honest. But it's hard to judge him off 45 minutes. And we're not going to get much chance to judge him again, are we, after his ACL injury? But it was such a relief getting that goal at the end of the first half, especially after Neto's missed. When Neto missed that big chance, I just thought this ain't going to be our day. And Southampton did have their moments, especially second half with Che Adams hitting. Well, it was handball, wasn't it? The one, and when he hit the bar after. But a really important win, and it could have just, if we'd have conceded late like we did against Newcastle, this would be a very, very different podcast. But thankfully, we got over the line. And as we all predicted last week, we said we'd win. Well, we thought we'd win, but we also said it'll definitely be a very, very nervy occasion. And thankfully, our defence held out.
Bayliss, it was one of those, wasn't it, where you think, oh, thank God we've got Kalajic, because Raul had pulled his groin in the warm-up. He was meant to start, and obviously then, as a precaution, is sitting in the stands. And I don't know what happens. It just goes, isn't it? It's like one of those where you're looking at the replays and going, where's it happened and how's it happened?
Yeah, he twisted on a standing leg, didn't he, when you look at it back, which is bad. But 340 grand a minute, money well spent.
Absolute bargain.
Just
when you look at his injury record, it really isn't very good at all, is it, though? Ankle problem, 11 days he missed, coronavirus, calf problems, shoulder injury, he was out for 130 days, missed 16 games for Stuttgart. Cruciate missed 28 games, out for 262 days. Syndesmotic ligament tear, 108 days. Jesus. Knee problems. Actually, when you look at the list, when you look at it, actually, it's not brilliant. And I know the commentary team, because I watched it online, was saying, actually, this player would probably be worth a lot more money if it wasn't for his injury record, Harry. And just looking at that, you think that's actually one hell of a gamble for the club to take. And obviously, it's backfired.
Yeah, but as we know, they do like their, well, you say cheap, but he wasn't the most money, as you mentioned. But it has backfired, and someone's just put in the comments, Ponce de Leon. I'll get it up. This is a great point, to be fair. They kept him on. He was literally that when
so that's a big investment / asset. Should the medical team allowed to finish the half? A good point.
And when Podence scored that goal, he had a torn ACL when he was stood in the middle, ready for the tap-in. So, when you look at it like that, fair play to him to carry on. And it's going to be at least 6 months out, isn't it? If all goes well with an injury like that. So it's devastating. But as we know, we're going to be getting the big man in. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Who knows?
We will talk about that shortly. But Jordan Graham, Michael Zaro, Nua Dicko, Shabani, Dadashov, Johnny twice, Chiquinho, now Kalajic. That's in the last 8 years alone. Bayliss, are we cursed with ACL injuries?
I mean, when you play a sport like football, it's like a big risk. It can happen. So, are we like?
That's a lot, though, isn't it? 8 years.
It's a lot.
8 players.
It's one of those injuries that happen playing a sport like that. So
Johnny's had 2, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, 2.
It's just bad luck.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think that's why we fetishize about the Nuno era so much? And when you go, oh, I can't think of games where we've been electric and stuff, and I think we forget how lucky we were with injuries under Nuno, because we just those first probably 2 seasons, one in the Championship and the first one back in the Premier League, we didn't have any. It makes
we were
such
very
a
lucky.
difference, doesn't it? Especially at this level.
It fell apart towards the end, didn't it? With obviously Raul's injury and that, but yeah, definitely we had a good run with that small squad, didn't we?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Otherwise, Harry, what did you think of the performance? Hwang obviously coming on late on. Guedes, not really seen much of him to make me think he's going to be pulling up any trees at any time soon. It'd be good to see some improvement from him.
Yeah, definitely. Just on the performance though, it was nervy, but we got the job done. I thought Nunes had a good game. Obviously, got the assist for the goal. He probably one of the standout performers for me. I thought Johnny second half was really good. After we criticised him a lot last podcast, didn't we, about his form? But I thought he had a good game. Nearly scored as well. That shot he had, I thought it was dropping in the South Bank end. And yeah, I mean, look, Southampton had their moments, and we've got. I think statistically, we have got the best defence in the league, haven't we? I read somewhere. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's our strength, isn't it? Our defence. We've got a clean sheet. It's just at the other end where our problem's been, and it was a bit of a.
It has to still be the case. We haven't conceded.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, you know what I mean. I don't know. I could be wrong on these stats, but yeah, but the goal was a bit of a scruffy one, as mentioned. I don't think he meant it, and we've just got to try and be more clinical in front of goal, haven't we? Like Neto's miss, as mentioned, but the 3 points was massive. It takes the pressure off a little bit going into the weekend's game against Liverpool.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because you know, we're talking about goals that don't go in and chances that don't go our way and stuff. But how lucky were we that Che Adams? I don't know what he's doing when that handball happens.
It's the worst
but
miss I've ever seen.
Cool. I think it's
it is
worse
the worst
than
miss
Carney's.
ever. Yeah.
It's not a miss, it went in.
That is bad.
Hand of God.
Sorry, just disappeared there.
It's unbelievable how he missed that.
Which one you want when he hit the bar?
It's so
He
poor.
did. No,
when he handballed,
he like jumped at the ball. All he had to do was nod it in, and
it did go in. But he handballed it in.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
But did you see it?
He was actually good the entire game. He was an absolute pest.
When he was bumping into Sarr, when Sarr was trying to run out, he's like shoulder barging it. I was like, bloody hell, mate. He was definitely giving us a handful. You've always rated him, haven't you, Bayliss?
I have.
Should sign him up. But just on Hwang as well, Sam. Sorry. The boos when he came on, I thought that was...
There weren't many by us, though.
I was going to say, yeah.
You could hear it, though. And then, obviously, the South Bank then broke into song for him, which I thought was a good touch. Because although he has been absolutely awful, to boo one of your own players is just not the way forward, is it? It's just not.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why you'd boo a player at any point unless, like, they've volleyed a cat like Kurt Zuma. Yeah. I mean, if a player's out of form, then he's out of form and he needs picking up. He doesn't need you to tell him that he's shit. And that would be my opinion anyway. I think there's a slight lag on this stream, so if I talk over you, I'm sorry, because I think there's a little bit of a lag that's my end. But can I
pick up on a couple of things from last week. I was obviously not around, and I listened to the podcast, just picking up on a couple of things. One, near the end, Jack says it'd be terrible if someone does their ACL. The irony.
Jinxed it.
Cheers, Jack. Stay in Rome. Secondly, I think I was very misrepresented about what I said about Semedo. I actually bollocked Jimenez as much as Semedo. I just thought that they should have tried to get out there. I know it's an absolute wonder strike, but I think your defenders should, or anyone in the vicinity should not make it a free volley, even though it's a fucking steam round.
He's been good though, any Semedo, Bayliss, you got to admit it, this season. Been one of our best players.
I thought we were better Saturday without him, to be perfectly honest. I thought Johnny, who you lot gave a lot of stick last week,
he played well,
was superb. And you've got to give him credit for that.
He was better on the right, to be fair.
And the difference is Bayliss.
Aït-Nouri gets forward well, but can't defend. And Semedo can defend, but it's crap going forward. So we're knackered.
Bayliss, can I say something, though? The difference is we praise and criticise players when it's fair. With Semedo, you literally criticise him when he's really good.
You just said he's good going back, but he's crap going forward.
You have got a bit of an agenda against him. We haven't got an agenda against Johnny. We just mentioned he had a bit of a bad run of form the last few games. And then we praised him after Saturday's game.
I don't know. I think you do a bit of role reversal and try and overly praise Semedo because of the fact. And I think when you look at it, the games we've played this season, the best we've had now is with Aït-Nouri and Johnny. And fair enough, we did look dodgy at the back, but you got to try and score them. We can't go out to try and win a game 0-0. And the best two attacking options down those sides are Johnny and Aït-Nouri. I know that he's dodgy at the back, Aït-Nouri. We know that he's a bit weak and he makes mistakes, but I think we've got to try and score goals.
Yeah. Did you not see Semedo's assist against Preston for Adama?
He can go to the championship whenever he wants. Aren't Preston like one of the worst performing teams at the moment? Aren't they like absolutely like rock bottom or not rock bottom, but they're really bad?
Found his level.
Did a job.
Let's have a look at the elephant in the room, which is Diego Costa. I think when everybody saw the news coming through that Klajic had done his ACL, instantly go on the free transfers that are available. Instantly go, oh, Diego Costa's available. Bayliss, I've got to come to you first, because actually the two players we've been linked to are people that you have probably mentioned every single season that we've been doing the podcast. And they are, one, Diego Costa, because he's, quotes, a shithouse, and B, Andy Carroll, because he's massive shithouse.
He is not a shithouse.
Linked to both of them.
Diego Costa is not a shithouse. He is the lord of shithouses. He is king shithouse. And I love him. Now, I probably said this 5 years ago when he was in a touch of form and a decent player, and he hasn't played that much football. He's been over in Brazil. God knows what he's going to be like, but cannot wait to see him play. I cannot wait to see him just go through someone and just give us a bit of fight. Hear the South Bank get excited when he squares up to someone after a tackle. Just something to give Wolves a bit of oomph, and that chance that he finds a bit of form again. He's back in the Premier League and gets a couple of goals. I mean, it's such a shame this isn't a few years ago and he came to us in those, earlier days. But out of the two, it's definitely got to be Costa, hasn't it?
Harry, how do you feel about it? Because I'm really not sure that I like his. It's hard to find the right word. It's his temperament within the dressing room. It's his influence he has on the squad. I think he is a troublesome player. I don't know if he's right, if he's a right fit. I don't know what you think, but with, it's bad timing we haven't got a striker, but actually it's, 13 games before the transfer window opens again. I know it's a good chunk of the season. It's pretty much a third of the season, but it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? And realistically, how long is it going to take him to get to some sort of match fitness? He hasn't played since the 12th of December, 2021. So that's getting on for 10 months ago since he last played a game. It's a long, long, long time. And, the Premier League is physical and he's going to have to be doing some running around, to be fair. Do you think he's got it in him? Do you think the gamble will pay off?
I hope it does, but the gambles, we've got to do it. I mean, Raul's got an injury, picked up another injury, obviously, before the Southampton game. And my initial thoughts were excitement. I know he's not the same as the one we remember at Chelsea. But like Bailey said, he's a shithouse. He is. He'll get about, he'll put himself about. He'll have that bit of attitude we need, like a bit of ruthlessness going forward. He might not score 10 to 15 goals, but I'm excited. He's going to give everyone a lift as well, isn't it? Like the fans are buzzing about it. I mean, look at the comments now. Everyone's saying they're excited for him to join, and I am too. And if he can find any sort of his old form, and hopefully he's fit enough. By the time of recording, he hasn't even done his medical, so hopefully he should have signed by the time this is released on the podcast platforms. But I'm excited, and I'd put him in ahead of Raul at the moment as well, because we've been criticising Raul for weeks on this podcast, and he can't be no worse, can he? I'd put him straight in there, and I just hope he can bag a few goals. I've
just seen the comments. It's taken 200 episodes, but cheers, Dean.
Bailey's absolutely bang on.
Bailey's absolutely bang on. I don't know. I'm really mixed about it. I mean, when you say that there, it seems to make a lot more sense. And I see loads of rival fans on Twitter going, "Oh my God, that's a panic signing!" And it's like, yes, it is a panic signing. Yeah. We're panicking because we haven't got any strikers. That's the reason that we're going out there. That's exactly the reason. Do you think he'd be good for someone like Chem Campbell to be around and to learn off Harry? Do you potentially the younger attacking players in the squad? Do you think he will help?
Chem Campbell will probably stay away from him. He'll be shitting himself in training. You're not going to near him. No, maybe, yeah. But is he that type of player? I don't know. he just lead by example, won't he, with the way he is.
It is the main problem. It will only if he goes through someone in training.
Yeah,
that is like the worst
and
possible.
His disciplinary record ain't the best, is it? And with VAR in the Premier League now, he can't get away with what he used to be like for Chelsea. He'll be getting sent off.
Is it right? He's never had a Premier League red card.
Surely that's not right.
No, it can't be right.
It was. I saw that on the Twitter, so it's probably wrong.
But if he hasn't, he's had plenty of bookings and things like that. God. But yeah,
he's like Gary Wackett, though, isn't he?
He's the best free transfer. Like, was it Andy Carroll, the other person we were linked with? If not him, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you'd rather go for Costa, wouldn't you, over Andy Carroll? So
well, he's just been at the Albion, Andy Carroll.
I'm excited, and I think he will be a bit of a shirt seller as well. I know he's only here for a year, but people are going to be getting him on the back of the shirt and things like that, aren't they? And it's made worldwide news, hasn't it? Every outlet you look on are reporting this news. It's exciting, isn't it? That's what we want. We want entertainment, and yeah, it might not work out, but it's give us as a fan base an absolute buzz, hasn't it? And I'm excited to see him play. Hopefully, he can be ready for Saturday.
Is it bad if I just peel the letters off my 2019 shirt and I put on a new one?
The old Costa.
How much do you think he's going to be on, Dan? What do you reckon? Because I think that could. That's one thing about squad balance and all that. Yeah, but that blows everybody else out the water, doesn't it? And then to me, if you're on that kind of money, you have to earn it. So you have to be like Ruben Neves and you have to be Jan Moutinho. But you know they've built to that level. They've come in. You know, Moutinho came here as what 30, 31.
Yeah, but he's on 100 grand.
Years old. So probably is now, but I mean, he didn't come off the. We didn't sign Moutinho at 33 years old. He hasn't played for 10 months, and he's playing in Brazil. You know, he came from Monaco. He was 31 and still playing for the national side. Rich would rather have
Champions League goals than the rest of them put together, I think.
Oh dear. Yeah. So, how would you rate it out of 10 if it does come through, Harry?
In terms of excitement, a 10. Well, it's a bit concerning. Nobody has took a gamble on him since December, January time. But overall, I'd say about a 7 out of 10 because we're getting excited. But is he going to do it on the pitch? That's the question.
Dan, for you?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like as a potential signing and something to talk about, it's absolutely brilliant. It's 10 out of 10. Let's see if he's still got it in him. I'm quite happy to give him a run because Raul's done nothing so far. So can you imagine 8th of October, he scores the winner at Chelsea and then shushes all their fans.
Also,
as well, like, at the pitch,
like... he's like, it's a bit of a weird one for Fosun and Jeff to go for, isn't it? It's very out there for them. It's not something they usually do go for someone like him.
We have to panic.
Yeah.
You're not going to get through a season without a striker.
Yeah, well, Hwang.
I said you can't get through a season without a striker.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I was looking at all the free transfers and you're just thinking, no. Oh my God, there's literally no one around. And at the top of the list, worth the most
Vidra,
money.
Sturridge, Carroll and Costa are about the only 4 with any note.
Vidra, no. Sturridge, I mean...
He's a shit house.
Nah. Surprised Sturridge is still...
Spaniel Sturridge.
Yeah, Spaniel Sturridge. Now, let's see how it goes, though. But exciting. And hopefully, obviously, we're recording this, 8:30 on a Wednesday. Hopefully, he passes his medical. Yeah, he's fit. Imagine if he rocks up and he ain't even fit enough to pass. That'd be hilarious.
No, yeah.
There was pictures of him in the gym, though, wasn't there? Looking good.
I mean, surely this is the easiest job for a doctor of all time. They were going to go, yeah, crack on.
Yeah, he's fine. He's on crutches. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. Just let him crack on. Let's talk about Liverpool. We haven't won there since 2010, and that was when Stephen Ward put one past, I think it was Pepe Reina. Pretty much ended the reign of Roy Hodgson. Yes, in the Premier League. Good shout.
Yeah,
Harry, this time round, what are we thinking? Starting 11?
You've introduced the away perspective. We got him.
Oh, he's not here, but if you listen to the podcast, then we'll play it now. But if you're watching online live, then check out the video. It's going to be out probably Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Harry, do you reckon?
Yeah. But on Liverpool, I mean, they haven't been the best, have they? Let's be honest. They've struggled. They drew with Everton. I watched a bit of that game, and I think we can get at them. And if Costa's in there, we throw him in. And it's probably one of those games that will suit us a little bit because we'll be soaking up pressure and trying to hit them on the counter. You'd imagine even with 4 at the back, I think that'll be the tactic. We've just got to take our chances. Similar to the last game of the season. Obviously, Neto put us 1-0 up early. If we can do that and then have something to hold on to and just try and frustrate them, it'll be hard because obviously the talent they've got up front, but their midfield is looking very weak, isn't it, at the moment? They're playing like Milner, Harvey Elliott and things like that. I think Henderson's injured, isn't he? So I'd hope we'd win the midfield battle, and I think we can get something. I'm not as fearful as I would have been last season going to Anfield. I think we've got a chance.
Do you reckon?
9-0
Bayliss, how many
England.
will Diego Costa score?
Well, can he be registered in time to even play? Is the
We
question.
don't know.
That is a
Don't
good
know.
point.
Don't know. But one thing I would say is I like the way Everton went about playing them. They didn't sit too deep, and when they went, they all went together. So, Sam's gone. I'd like to see us just have a go at them. I'd probably start Adama in place of Neto. I don't think Neto's done a hell of a lot to keep his position so far. So, get Adama in. Podence the other side. If Costa is fit, available and ready, why not? If not, I guess it's Hwang.
Oh God, no! I think I think he'll go. I think we'll stick with the 4-3-3. I do. No, I don't know if I agree with it. He'll stick with Nunes, Moutinho, and Neves in midfield. But like you say, Costa in there if we can. But if not, it's got to be Hwang, isn't it? It's got to be Hwang.
Maybe Guedes, but I didn't think a lot of Guedes, to be honest, so far.
No.
He looked all right,
but I think although we spoke about Hwang being booed against Southampton, he wasn't too bad when he come on, was he? Like he went amazing. So maybe he'll have to be the option if Costa is not ready to go. So maybe him for the middle. I don't know, man. It's a free hit, isn't it? Kind of. These next 2 games are, but it would be nice to pick up a few bonus
points. It could quite be 4 or 5-0 if they turn up. But given how they've been playing recently, it could be a good game.
We forget they did put 9 past Bournemouth, though, don't we? So they are capable of absolutely smashing teams still, but they have not been the same Liverpool. I mean, their new lad Darwin Nunes is with a Z in it. He's the best of starts, has he? So I don't want to say that now.
He makes the easy things look hard, to be fair to Harry. Do you think this is a game for Semedo and Johnny rather than Johnny and Aït-Nouri?
That's a tough question because obviously we know we say all the time Aït-Nouri defensively ain't the best, and we're going to be doing a lot of defending. So maybe Johnny left back, Semedo right back, but then Aït-Nouri on the counter would be great, wouldn't he? And he had a really good game at the last game of the season there, didn't he, from memory? So tough decision for Bruno on that one. For me, I'd probably just gamble and put him left back anyway because they're likely to score whoever's left back, to be honest. So let's have him there for his attacking advantages he brings to us. I'd stick him in there at left back, and maybe I agree. But Johnny had a really good game against Southampton, so maybe he'll keep his place as well at right back.
Yeah, fair praise.
Reckon, Dan.
Yeah, can't disagree.
Score prediction, Harry?
Oh my God. I'm going to say a really hard-fought 2-1 loss. Let's not be too biased towards Wolves. Although I think we've got a chance, I think we will lose. I think we're a bit of a tight 2-1 loss.
Dan?
Honestly, I think it'll be 2 or 3-0 Liverpool. But if looking at their position and how they've played recently, I'd say we can go there and get a 1-1. If Wolves turn up, play our best, there's the possibility we scrape it or we could fight out a 1-1 or something.
Okay, well, I'm feeling actually quite optimistic, and I don't really know why. I'm going to try and watch it with my dad, who's a Liverpool fan, so that will ruin my weekend. Let's get your latest betting odds, and we won't bother with the ticket news, seeing as Jack isn't here, unless Harry can find some. But I mean, last time the ticket news was there's tickets available. Fuck off. It's like that Jack, one where it's like the bloke goes, "I've got 50p. Fuck off." That's basically what it was.
Yeah, I ain't in the know like Jack. But the one news I did give the last time I did ticket news was my mate won a ticket on the ballot for Liverpool, so there is hope for us all. I never thought anyone I know would win one because it's so unlikely.
No.
Right.
Go for it, base.
I just had a little look. I mean, the one that's absolutely inevitable if it's a really close game and Wolves play really well is 1-0 Jota, 22-1.
Ooh.
Fair.
Then I thought Johnny's performance was really good. He got so close with his effort. A 1-1 draw, which is my sort of positive spin on it. and Johnny to get that first one is 290 to 1.
Wow.
And now you're going to have to concentrate on this because Sky Bet have now got a bet builder. So I was having a little fiddle.
They do.
So listen carefully.
And then you went on
Under 2.5 goals. Daniel Potence to score at any time. Ruben Neves to have 1+ shots on target, and there to be over 9 corners in the game.
God,
Ooh,
that's going to be big.
200 to 1.
You're putting a quid on?
that's not bad.
We've got to score a goal for it to come in, though.
50p.
I mean, I am going to have every game this season. I've had my 4-1. Pure. The amount of money I've lost on this bet now over the years is getting silly. Like, but I've got to keep having it. I only put £2.50 on every time now, but I've got to do it because 1 week I don't do it, it's going to come in, isn't it? I'm not going to do it the one time and we're going to win 4-1. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Can you not do it this week? So we win 4-1.
Imagine.
Yeah. Are you going Saturday, Harry?
No. You got a ticket?
No, I'm away.
Jack will be going, won't he?
Jack's going. I can't make it.
It's rare with like 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It's these type of games usually.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, because you think they'd normally. Yeah.
And at the time of recording, Liverpool are playing tonight, so if they're knackered and have made some rotations, I hope that's an advantage to us.
They must be playing now. I haven't looked at the score.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a great shout. Stuart Parks in the comments. I was going to bring this up. Adama Traore, because I think the Turkish transfer window is still open, isn't it? And they really want Galatasaray really want Adama Traore. So, yeah, a little swap deal. But I think it said as well, Adama, if he does go, he wants more money, the cheeky git. It's all about money with Adama these days, isn't it? Once he's pay rise, he wants to be the highest paid player for us.
Haven't done anything yet.
Exactly.
There's 35 minutes
around
gone.
a bit, and then
at time of recording here, 35 minutes gone in Napoli. It's 2-0 Napoli.
Oh my God, that's a good sign for us for Saturday.
Excellent. They got no centre midfielder, have they? Perfect. Okay, well, we'll leave episode 200 there because the lag that is my end is doing my head in. But we'll try and do something special at some point, maybe for episode 300. But otherwise, we'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Yes, typical us, isn't it? On a milestone episode, just complete shambles. But cheers everyone for listening, and I hope it was bearable.
And Dan Bayliss.
Goodbye, everyone.
And you say goodbye from me. Goodbye.